Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing good. I know that it's winter time, so things are just starting to suck and like literally drain the life out of everything. But yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. I'm doing good. It's a little bit like sunny this side, which is great. But yeah, I totally hate winter. Anyways, in today's video, I just wanted to talk to you guys about like my journey so far, like just paint the picture for you from like me like learning how to draw and then studying animation and then like where I am now. So basically, my story starts off in maybe grade 4, 5, or 6, I think, and I would be like maybe in like maths class, because like that was like one of the classes that I didn't really enjoy. And in maths class, I'd find myself just doodling and stuff. So as the years progressed, I continued just drawing like random stuff, like randomly, and then I think come to grade 9. I had to now choose like subjects and stuff because that's what you do apparently when you're like 15 years old. You have to make life-changing decisions that will completely like alter your life for forever, which is weird because why are we like allowing kids to make these decisions? Like at 15, you don't know anything. You don't know like what you like, what you're passionate about. Like you literally don't care about these things, and I feel like, as people, as society, we just need to review that. But anyway, yeah, in grade 9 I had to choose my subjects, pure maths lit, physics, business, etc. And with that, I think for me, I didn't know what to choose because at the time, like it didn't matter to me, and like the things that I was interested in I was not doing at school. So what was suggested was that I take an aptitude test, and then I took the aptitude test. The results of the aptitude test came back a little bit inconclusive. I had like top 3 choices, which was radiology, something in sports, and then animation. And then of the first 2 choices, I think radiology, like I had no interest in like science or sciencey stuff, so I was just like, I'm not gonna do that. And then with sports, like looking at how like our sports is in South Africa, there isn't like that much progression unless like you're a superstar like Caster Semenya, but like I didn't see myself like reaching that kind of level. So I was like, okay, let me just look into animation. And then with looking into animation, basically I attended the open day at the animation school, and I was like super impressed by everything that they were saying, like saying that you just need to know how to draw and like just be creative, and like that's who I am at my core. So after that I ended up getting signed up for digital drawing classes. So basically digital drawing is like drawing digitally, obviously, but like drawing with a Wacom, like a Wacom pen. Like, so basically you draw on like this pad thingy, and then like it has a pen, and then like whatever you draw shows up on your screen. So I had to go for classes for that at the Digital Canvas Academy. So luckily Digital Canvas Academy, like the school itself, is situated at the animation school. So I think that was like a bit of an advantage for me, because then I got to like acquaint myself with the students who were going there, and I got to see their work. I got to see what animation is really about, even though I was like doing like the digital drawing classes. And then with the digital drawing classes, it was a bit scary, I won't lie, because I think at that level, like when you've been drawing by yourself, you think you're good. And then when you see other artists work and like seeing them draw well digitally, and like that was like something I was just like literally getting introduced to, it was like a bit scary, because I was like, oh my gosh, like is this something I want to do? Am I going to be good at this? Like it was scary but like challenging. And also with seeing the animation school students, like their work and stuff, I was like, okay, if I can get to that level, if I can get to a point where they are, then I got this. So it was just it was very scary, but I think afterwards I was like really grateful that I did it, and it made me realize that I needed to like put more effort into my craft. I needed to practice, I needed to draw more, I needed to paint, I needed to expose myself to like the different mediums of art and learn more about art and animation as a whole. And then flash forward to grade 10, 11, 12. In those grades, I am now doing art classes on weekends, which I really enjoyed because I got to paint, I got to draw, I got to like just be super creative without like any like anybody holding me back or like being told like what to do. Like what I really liked about my art teacher was that despite like maybe let's say I'm learning how to paint, he would allow me to paint whatever I wanted to paint. It wasn't necessarily like paint this or do this, like there was no restrictions. And I feel like for artists that's like really important, because then when you have no restrictions you kind of just let your mind loose and like you think of the craziest things and like you then bring that to life, and that's just like a really amazing process. And then came the time where I had to now apply to the animation school, because basically with the art classes that was me just basically I think preparing my portfolio, because you needed to like have a portfolio to show that you can do art, you are good at art. And I think also one of the other requirements was to like write like a short essay, I think, on why you feel like you are into animation, why do you feel like you deserve to go to the school, basically begging, but it's fine. And then yeah, I applied. After applying, I got accepted. Like I had to go for an interview with like the principal of the school. In the interview we just like spoke things through. Like I took him through like my artworks, explained like the I guess the BTS, like the behind the scenes of like what was I thinking, how did I get here, all of those things. And then when all was said and done, he said I would be a great fit to be in the school, which was great, because then I think at the time, I think the interview was like matric, maybe September-ish. And around that time is like prelims, and you're also preparing for finals. So it kind of sort of took the pressure off of me to know that, okay, I have now like secured my future. Like with other kids in my class, it was like, oh my gosh, like where am I going to apply to? Am I going to VITS? Am I going here? What am I going to do? Like, and you're so stressed about your marks, your APS scores, like there's a lot going on. And for me, I was just fortunate enough to be accepted to the school and the career that I wanted to be in. Like having known that and just being able to just be like relatively calmer when it came to finals like really helped, because at that point in time I didn't have to like stress myself about, oh, I need to get distinctions or I need to do extremely well. Like, to be honest, I did the bare minimum and I was okay with that. And yeah, I then went to the animation school. Okay, so first year was incredibly difficult. I did at some point want to drop out, mainly because I felt like I was just extremely challenged and I didn't realize like how much effort and how much work goes into like animation, like the entire process from like writing the story to storyboarding to creating characters to 3D, all of that. Like I feel like it's very consuming, and it's not like, you know, in school or in varsity where you can like study for a test or cram for a test and then pass it, like study the night before. With animation, you literally have to put in the time, you have to put in the hours. You sit in front of your computer screen and figure things out and make sure that your work looks good. It takes so much effort, it takes so much energy. Like I remember we would like pull all-nighters or go to school on weekends. Like my social life, I had to like completely dissolve it. Like the amount of friends I lost within first year was crazy, because I think, like, you know, with the varsity experience, like everyone's going out, everyone's going to parties, everyone's like doing the most, and I'm just here trying to pass, trying to get that 51%, like while trying to learn how to be more computer literate, learning Maya. Like it was incredibly difficult. And I think like came end of the year, I was like super tired, and I was like, I'm not sure if this is what I want to do. But then my parents said, no, like we've paid too much money for you to just give up like this, and you need to get back in the game and make us proud, of which I tried to do. And then yeah, second year was also rough. I think second year was probably the most difficult year of my life in terms of like of my studying life, or my like varsity life, I guess. Because second year, because in first year, right, you learned all the basics and like how to do this and how to do that. Like it was just an introduction into animation, into Maya. And then in second year was where you really just had to apply yourself. There was more pressure, there was a lot more work. So it was just like week in, week out, there's an animation you have to do, facial or walk cycle, like there was a lot. And then there was also like a comic book that we had to do, and it was just really like, it was super testing of like my skills. And I did have doubts as well in that year. Honestly, I had doubts the whole time. First year, second year, third year, I had doubts. I'm just a doubtful person. I don't believe in myself. I am a loser for that. But yeah, as I was saying, so it was just incredibly difficult, because then there was also rigging and stuff like that's where we had to now put like skeletons into our models and then like make them move. And I was like that one person who continuously faced issues in like Maya. I don't know, I just like press buttons and stuff, like even sometimes unknowingly so. And like I would have to call the lecturer now because I broke something, or I broke my rig, or something's gone wrong, and it would take us like the entire day to figure out what the problem is. And like while we're figuring that out, everyone else is getting ahead with their work, and I'm just like falling behind, and I'd have to catch up. Like second year was super challenging. Like we were at school every weekend, every single weekend. It was super rough, super rough. Would not recommend, because that's like the 1 year that like literally makes or breaks you. And it tests if you're really down for this, if you're really like made for this. I think if I had to think of like how the industry would be, like if I had to paint a picture of like the industry, like the animation industry, I feel like second year, like the level of pressure, the level of like the amount of work you have, and like just having to like deadline after deadline after deadline, I feel like working is kind of similar to that. So in hindsight, it was really great, because then they kind of prepared us for that, if you think about it. And then okay, third year was nice and also challenging. Third year was where we were put into groups, like groups of 8 or maybe 9 or 10, I don't remember. And then you had to basically create a film, and we had from Feb to November to do that. And it had to be like a short film, a 3-minute film, and we just had to like create it from scratch. And to be honest, like looking back now, the process was really great. Like from storyboarding from ironing out our script, like our story, to storyboarding, to look development, to modeling and texturing and animation. Like it was really like great. I learned so much from my teammates. And I mean, despite the pressure and the stress of third year, like literally that was hectic, it was intense. Despite the stress and the pressure of it, I think that was the 1 year where I did really well. Like at that point in time, I knew what it was that I was good at. I knew what my strengths were, and I made sure that I did my absolute best. Like I was getting 80s in third year. Like what? That's crazy to me. But yeah, I was good in animation, texturing, and modeling. And then like all the other stuff, like depending on who like in your team has like certain strengths, they would do those things, which was great, because then I think we all showcase like our best skills, and then like those best skills then like were showcased within the film. So like collaboratively, it was like our best work together, and that was really great. Looking back at our film, I mean, it could have been better, but at the time we did what we could, and we could probably do better like now. knowing what we know now, and maybe if we had more time. But I think we really did push, especially because with our team, we were the ones who like our story was, it wasn't like human based, it was like under the sea basically. I can link the film actually in my description box to like our film, our third year film. It's called Flow. It's about this jellyfish that does what? I actually forgot. This jellyfish that tries to make friends and then they reject her, and then because pollution and stuff, she mistakes a plastic bag for another jellyfish and tries to make friends with that jellyfish, and then gets her tentacles like tied up in the plastic bag, and then she drowns, and then she gets saved by the crab that she tried making friends with. Anyway, the whole point was to highlight like how pollution affects animals in the sea, which was, yeah, it was great. It was great. I think I really liked the aspect of our film having a social message, or is a social message, like an educational purpose to it. Like it wasn't just for fun or like just to laugh at, like it had an important lesson. And that's another thing that I like, well, random side note, but like that's another thing that I really like with animation and like why I chose it, because as much as it is entertaining, you also do have the platform to talk about difficult topics that society shuns from like speaking about to their kids. And like, because animation is mostly like a medium used to like target and educate kids, it's easier that way. Like you can speak about things and like teach kids things, which is like super cool. So with finding a job, I think what happened was in third year we had this one day where I think was called Industry Day, where people from the industry, like people who own companies or creative directors, basically people who are looking for people to hire, came there, and then we had to like show them our show reels, give them our business cards. And I mean, I think some people got jobs from that day, but it wasn't necessarily everyone, which is expected. Because I think with a lot of animators, we tend to think, oh my gosh, like as soon as I'm done, I'm going to be working for Disney. And the path is never really like that straightforward. And I think you only realize that as soon as you graduate. Because after graduation, a lot of us were just sitting like being like, okay, we're applying, but like nothing's happening. And I think we didn't know that like besides actual animation studios, you could like apply to other places, because animation is like very like the industry, I feel like bleeds in like to different industries. So if you're not working at like an animation studio for maybe example like Triggerfish, you could work in marketing, or you could work in e-learning, or you could work in film and television. There's just like, animation is so broad and wide. Like it literally, like I said, bleeds into different industries. Like if you are watching, for example, Generations 8 p.m. Friday night, when the adverts come on, like you see a ShopRite advert, all that stuff, probably an animator. If you see, I think maybe, what else can I make an example of? Infographics, I think, as well, like when it comes to like representing data and like showing people stuff, like like bar graphs and stuff, but like ones that move, like motion graphics and stuff, animators. Disney films, animators. Literally, even with like the smallest of things, I think even within film and television, like there are animators in the background running things and making things like go well. Or even like with the news, like, you know, the like on the news, like when the person's like speaking, and then like there would be like that banner that shows up with that like person's name and whatever details, and those like little thingies that like slide across the screen consistently. Animators. So it's really just a matter of, I think when it comes to finding a job, it's really just a matter of just not setting your sights and all of your hopes into working for an animation studio, because of the animation studios in South Africa, which are very few and far in between. Literally, I feel like the only proper studios, like where they do like animation and stuff, are mostly in Cape Town, and I can maybe name like 3 or 5. And then in Joburg, like there are studios, but it's like more marketing and advertising and like motion graphics. So if like you are like a 3D artist, it's gonna be a little bit difficult to find a job in that sense. So that's why I'm saying, like, never put like all your eggs in one basket hoping to like maybe, for example, go to Triggerfish or something, because also they choose like the cream of the crop. And I mean, it's not going to be everybody who's going to be an A student, you know, getting 80s and everything, excelling in everything. At most, like a lot of us, like you're going to have like your core strengths, which is like maybe 3 things or whatever. And I mean, I think that's good enough for a generalist, or you can specialize. But then also in South Africa, specializing, like, where you're going to be working. Like, you can't be like, I'm going to specialize in XGen, which is like creating, I think, hair in Maya and stuff for like characters. And then there's like very few animation studios. And then of the few studios, how many characters will need hair? Like, it's not realistic. Sometimes you just need to get back down and really think things through, in the sense of like, what kind of job can you get, where can you get it, and also learning. I think when you leave the animation school, you have this idea that, okay, I'm going to be doing 3D or 2D. You never think about motion graphics, like your After Effects, or graphic design, like your stuff in Illustrator. Like, you just need to broaden your mind, broaden your horizons in terms of like job seeking, and then also just try and sharpen your skills, and then learn new skills as well. It always helps to like learn new things. Like, I think when I left TAS, like at most, I think we probably learned like After Effects for 2 weeks max. So I didn't know much. Like, I knew that After Effects existed, but I didn't know what to do, how to do it, when to do it. And I had to learn that because at my first job, it involved a lot of like motion graphics. And then, I mean, luckily for me, there was also 3D, which was great because I love 3D. And yeah, motion graphics, I think in this day and age, is the future. Like, there is money in motion graphics. If you know how to do After Effects and you know how to do it well, you are set. Like, you are proper set. So, you know, definitely I feel like that's something that you should look into. And then yeah, like I was saying, my first job, that was nice. I think it was a very nice introduction into working. It was definitely like a change of speed for me, because I think coming out of like the animation school, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna be great. I'm gonna just, you know, quickly just make my way into working for Disney. But then like when you get there, like now the pace has changed and you are kind of starting from the bottom. And even though yes, you are gonna work your way up, it's gonna take like a lot more time. And that's something that I had to realize. And then I did enjoy it. I learned a lot in terms of working, how to carry yourself at work, deadlines, working under pressure. I remember we would have, like, there'd be a live show every day at 4 to 5 at the place that I was working. And like, you had to get stuff done before 4. And like sometimes you wouldn't even know like what it is that you'd be doing like for the day, or like the material wouldn't arrive until like maybe 2-3 hours before. and then you had to like just make things and create things for the show within those few hours so that it could be ready for the show, which was like very stressful. But I think I really like from there learned how to work under pressure and like how much you just have to keep your cool and just get the work done so that you can get it delivered. But yeah, I left that place and I am now working for an e-learning company in Cape Town. It's really nice. I think I didn't know much about e-learning until I got here. Well, got to this company. I still don't know much, if I'm being honest. I mean, I don't know what e-learning is. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like with a lot of people in South Africa, we're not really like exposed to that. Like, you don't really think about e-learning until like you're actually into it. Like, I didn't know that companies pay for courses and stuff to teach people. Like, what? That's insane. Like, another industry that, you know, people don't know about and stuff. And apparently there's money in it. So yeah. But yeah, I'm working for an e-learning company. I think adjusting, because like I've been saying, I am a 3D artist, and then with working here, I had to mostly do like motion graphics and Illustrator stuff, and I had to learn Illustrator. Guys, like, whoa, it was challenging. It was challenging because it's also fast-paced. There's a lot of like projects. There's a lot going on, and you have to multitask. And I thought I was gonna drown at some point, but I didn't. I am here, and I'm actually like at a point now where I feel like I'm comfortable enough to like do my job diligently and confidently in such a way that I don't like need as much help. I don't need someone spoon feeding me or holding my hand. I can sort of be independent, which is great. And recently also I have now like been doing like a 3D project for like one of the companies that's paying the company I work for to do stuff. But yeah, so that's really nice. I think if there's one thing about me, I know that like one way or another my path is just going to be in 3D, because my lifelong goal, actually, let's be vulnerable, my lifelong goal is to have like my own production company. I want to start a production company in South Africa where we hire, you know, our people and tell our stories, because South Africa, rich in history, there's just a lot going on, and there's so much material that we could be inspired from and like just, you know, use to create really cool animated films, or like even short films, or what are they called? What are those little videos called? Like those 1-minute videos or something. Just basically create really good content that would reach the right people, or reach everyone, actually. Not the right people, I don't know who the right people are, but like reach people in places that are like difficult to reach, like for kids in like Kuruman, or people in the rural townships, like stuff that could be played on TV or downloaded on your phone. Like I feel like I could do that and be that. And I think especially more so as like a Black person, a woman at that, our industry, like the animation industry, is very white and like male dominated, so there tends to be a lot of racism, a lot of sexism, and I mean, it is what it is. But I think for me, instead of like trying to get a seat at that table, I want to have my own table and uplift Black artists. Ultimately, that is the goal at the end of the day, because we do have skills, we are talented, we are blessed and highly favored, and we could showcase that to the world. It shouldn't just be, you know, Lion King stuff and the jungle and all of that. Like Africa as a whole, like South Africa and Africa as a whole, has so much more to offer than that, and I think we tend to just overlook that and maybe underestimate ourselves. And there's a very big gap in the animation market for like our stories. Like when you look at animation studios in South Africa, they're doing work for like overseas companies, and it's just like, do stuff for us, produced by us. I mean, they don't really have a choice because they have to get paid, but I think my goal is to like do stuff for us, by us, to teach us, basically. And yeah, hopefully one day I will get there. But yeah, for now, I think, just taking it slow, improving myself as an artist, getting work experience, just becoming an overall like better animator. And I think with this channel as well, that's what I want to do. I want to showcase my skills. I want to make this my show reel. I want to be honest and candid and authentic and show you guys what it is, like what the animation industry is. Just basically showing you how I'm navigating this and like learning and just going through it. And yeah, I mean, if you guys pick me, if you choose me, if you love me, if you stick around, if you become my bestie, it's gonna be worth it. I'm really excited, and I can't wait to like do more and grow as a person. And I can't wait for you guys to see me do that as well. So yeah, please hype me up. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next video. But wait. Before I go, you guys are not subscribing. You guys are watching the videos, you are liking the videos, or the video, because I technically have one before this one, but you are not subscribing. Please subscribe, please. I am begging you. If even if you don't like animation, I am a pretty girl. Like, look at my face. Like, even if you're just gonna be looking at my face, just subscribe, please.